Recently, I've been tired of having countless pocket clips all protruding out of my pocket and having my belt look like something Batman would be jealous of. I've recently started carrying a pocket organizer, and I'm not sure I'll ever go back to anything else. I've tried a lot of different pocket organizers, but leather ones just hit different. Today, I'm walking you through 6 different leather EDC slips I own, what I use them for, how they've held up, and which one I'd actually buy again. Before we dive into the slips, I want to briefly mention what I typically carry. In order for a slip to be a good fit for me, I like to be able to include a light, which in my opinion is the most important, as shockingly enough, it's actually my most used tool by far. I also like to include a multi-tool, whether this be plier-based like a Leatherman, or more knife-focused like a Victorinox. And finally, a controversial piece, a small pry bar. With my gear now established, let's explore some slips and examine some of their features. Today we'll be looking at 6 different leather EDC pocket organizers. These all vary in different features and price. To keep some suspense, I'll go through these in random order. You have to stay to the end to see which one's my favorite. First up, we have an off-the-shelf option I snagged off Amazon. This is the Easy Ant EDC Pocket Organizer. You can currently find this online for just around $20. This is one of the cheapest organizers I've tried, but don't instantly start turning your nose up at it. As for the price, the quality is actually surprisingly solid. The leather is pretty decent and thick, and has nice quality for such a cheap price tag. Though the leather is thick, it's still pretty soft and should mold to any tools over time. Per their listing, you can get this in 2 different colors, though I was only able to find this brown version on Amazon, though the yellow would actually have been preferred. This measures 4.2 inches tall and 2.87 inches wide and features 2 pockets on the front, has an internal compartment, and then finally 1 pocket on the back. In my use, I found these 2 front pockets useful for smaller gear such as pry bars and pens and smaller, thinner knives. The inside compartment and rear pocket work best for cards and cash, effectively making this a pretty small minimalist wallet. This organizer is great for those wishing to give it a try, but don't want to spend too much on an organizer, as this is an excellent value at only $20. The main drawback with this specific organizer is mainly the size, as due to its smaller footprint, you're ultimately limited to what gear you can carry, as larger gear will not fit in these 2 smaller pockets. I found this organizer to be more suited as a small minimalist wallet, and as I already carry a dedicated card wallet, I just found these 2 card and cash pockets going unused. Overall, for $20, the quality is surprisingly solid, the stitching is great, and the leather actually feels like leather, which at this price point is often hard to come by. Up next, we have a small slip from maker Wildflower Leather out of Los Angeles. This is the proper slip, and it's a smaller slip meant for a knife and a pen. This is handmade here in the United States and is made from vegetable tan leather from Wicked and Craig. With this one in hand, the leather feels so much nicer than the previous slip we just looked at. With that handmade background, the price doubles and this slip retails for around $35. This features a measurement of 4.5 inches tall and 2 inches wide, and it can fit a large variety of knives in this interior pocket. This slip also features an elastic pen loop, and as I don't typically carry a pen in my everyday setup, I know I'm sorry, this slip doesn't see a ton of use for me. Should you just carry a knife and a pen, this might be the slip for you. Now I have another organizer here, and though it isn't a true pocket organizer, as it has a belt clip, I still thought to include it. This is an EDC pocket organizer by a company I can't even pronounce that I randomly found on Amazon. Coming in with a price of just $25, this is another budget entry, and much like the other organizer from Amazon we covered earlier, the quality is shockingly decent again. The leather is thick enough and the stitching is solid. This specific organizer came with a pen loop, but as we discussed earlier, I don't really carry a pen, so this guy underwent some surgery and this is what we ended up with. As I mentioned earlier, this is a little bit different as this really isn't meant for the pocket and instead is meant to be carried on the belt due to this belt clip. Due to this, the organizer can hold a larger gear and can even carry a Leatherman and a larger light in this. For when I want to carry a larger gear, such as in the fall or winter when I'm wearing jeans, I have found this to be a pretty nice solution to carrying a multi-tool and a larger flashlight. Okay, now back to some true pocket organizers. Next up, we have something that's honestly hard to get your hands on. This is the Paratus from Paradrop Leather out of Canada. Much like the elusive hitchhiker wallets, these are a victim of drop culture and often sell out pretty quickly. I managed to snag this one on the secondary market, and Alexander at Highwinds EDC constantly boasted about them. These come in at a price of $65.99, at least at retail, and the quality is really high. The leather feels really great, and all sides are burnished. There's 4 individual slots, with the interior slot divided actually into 2. I love the look of this with the camo and the orange, and the quality of this is top notch, but I just really couldn't figure out a great way to use this. Due to this design, I just couldn't figure out a great carry setup, as every tool ate into the other compartment. Personally, in my opinion, I think this is a little overpriced, as there's some better alternatives out there that work better and also at a more reasonable price tag. Now we have the organizer I've actually carried the longest. This is the Three Sons Leather Light Slip. This is handmade in America from Horween and Wicked and Craig Leather, and this is coming in with a price tag of $45. Measuring 3.75 inches wide and 4.75 inches tall, this features 2 slots, one for a pen or a pry bar, and then a light. Though the main slot is rather narrow, which eliminates most knives, I still like this design, as the light loop still allows you to access the light while in the pouch. This organizer features a lanyard, which is actually particularly helpful in grabbing it out of the pocket. I've carried this one the longest, and it's actually served me really well. Last up is actually my most recent addition. This is a small pocket organizer from Seth at EPOC Handmade. He had several of these camo slips up on his Etsy page, and after seeing it, I knew I had to snag one. These are handmade here in the United States and have a price of $33. This one features an interesting design of 2 pockets, kind of similar to the previous Three Sons Leather Light Slip we just looked at. But this one adds a band around the outside, allowing you to stash more gear. This is my most recent addition, and I found it works pretty well in storing a light, a pry bar, and a small knife. Much like the rest of his gear, the quality is absolutely top notch, and all the edges are burnished and the stitching is great. I feel like the price is also reasonable and falls nicely between some of the previously discussed offerings we've looked at today. I guess we're at the point in the video in which I tell you which ones are worth your money and which ones you should skip. These are all great and have a place in this community, as everyone carries different gear and looks for different things. Based purely on my use cases, I would put the Paradrop Leather in last place, as it is the most expensive at double the cost of some of these, and I just didn't really find it that useful in my setup. Up next, I would probably have the Wildflower Leather Proper Slip, as I found it just a little bit limiting due to the size and the pen loop. This would then be followed by the Amazon Special Belt Organizer, as even though the size and the price are great, the quality just leaves a smidge to be desired. Now for our top 3. In a respectable third, we have the Easy Ant Organizer. For the price of just $20, this thing is very solid despite its small size. So now it comes down to this. For second place, I would give it to the Three Sons Leather Light Slip. This is a very reasonable price tag, and it functions great and has been with me without issue. That leaves the EPOC Handmade Organizer in first place. Though I haven't tested this as long as the others, this just has a really small footprint while containing a lot of gear in a rather small package. Also factoring in, this is one of the cheaper offerings. This just offers a lot for the price. Ultimately, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these on the table. All these serve a purpose, and I think you'd be happy with any of these. If you're interested in any of these, there will be links listed below in the description. Let me know in the comments if you use a pocket organizer or if I missed one in this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.